Yes, everyone, good morning. My name is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils, and this is Transfer Talk. So let's get straight into the mix with it then, shall we? And get talking about what everyone thinks is happening today. So United have apparently earmarked Sal Niguez to replace Paul Pogba. Totally different sort of footballer. Not sure where they're getting that one from as a direct replacement. In my opinion, I'm beginning to think that Bruno Fernandes is a Pogba replacement. I think that... Do you remember when... It was in for Morata, and it was dragging on and dragging on and dragging on and dragging on, and I was told almost via the player himself, well, directly from the player himself, but via someone else who now plays for Paris, that that he was going to be a United player by the weekend, and it had dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged, and you're like, why is this dragging? Well, the reason it was dragging is because United didn't want him, technically. The reason it was dragging is he was Plan B, and Plan A was Lukaku, because the very next day, United signed Lukaku almost out of nowhere. What I think's happening with Bruno Fernandes is he is Plan B to Paul Pogba staying. I don't really see how they could necessarily play in the same team. Certainly in a 3. In a 4, I think they probably could, but in a 3, don't really see it. So when I'm looking at what's going on, like, this has been dragging on for ages now. What's the hold-up? My guess, not been told anything, my guess is that the hold-up with the Bruno Fernandes thing is Paul Pogba, and United getting what they want in terms of about 150 million for him. Then this comes in with Sal Niguez, £134.5 million release clause, and Atletico are only going to listen to clubs that can meet that release clause. On one hand, I go, it's not our money, and I'd rather seen it spent on transfers than debt. On the other hand, I go, yeah, we need a midfielder, we do. We definitely do. But why 130-odd million when we so desperately need to bolster the defence first? If we're haggling over the price of, supposedly from the outside of things, haggling over the price of Bruno Fernandes, and we're not really willing to get that £25 million deal for Longstaff over the line, what makes you think that we're going to spend double what both of those are combined for Sal Niguez? That doesn't make commercial sense to me in any way, shape or form. I believe if Pogba goes, you won't see United replace him with a £100 million player. I think you'll probably see him replaced, all of that transfer fee go into the likes of Maguire, Fernandes and Longstaff. Niguez is a top player and I love him at United. I just don't buy this bullshit. Tuanzebe is set to sign a new contract at United. Now, this was something that I did hear on, that he didn't want to go back out on loan next season, which I guess still is potentially on the cards, but he didn't want to go back on loan. He wanted a new deal and to stay as part of United's first team squad, or he wanted to be sold on a permanent deal. And then it's broke that United are about to offer the guy a new contract. So the ultimatum from his agency clearly worked. It looks like he's going to be involved in pre-season tour. I'm very excited with this. I've been chatting to a couple of people in and around the club and wondering like how this is going to go. Some people have got the idea that they would like to see, if Harry Maguire was brought in, Axel Tuanzebe partner him rather than Victor Lindelof. And I was like, wow, that's a hell of a shout. I thought Lindelof improved the defensive side of his game very much last year, and I thought when the ball comes into the channel, he was excellent. I thought he dealt with that stuff excellent. But his weakness is actually the worst teams that you play against. You know, he had a great game against the likes of Juventus and some of the top 6 teams, but apart from Tottenham, his weakness was like, you know, Derby and like Burton and teams that you just expect United to trounce, and even Wolves to a certain extent. When a team goes direct, Lindelof struggled with that greatly. Now, Tuanzebe's weakness is also dealing with that aerial threat. He's certainly not got a no-fly zone around him where nothing comes there that he doesn't win. His weakness is attacking a ball in the air that you want a centre-half to do. But in terms of a defender, he's a hard player. He's an aggressive player. And I think as a ballsy call, I wouldn't expect Lindelof to be displaced by Tuanzebe, certainly from the start of the season. But if there's an opportunity, there's an injury or a suspension, something along those lines, and Tuanzebe's able to come in, I would expect him to impress very much. I thought he was excellent for Villa, and I can see why Villa wanted to retain him, but I am delighted that he's sticking around because he's a wonderful talent. And do you know what? I know this is get your giddy hats on, because I'm going to say some real giddy shit here. Tuanzebe is the sort of player that I could see captaining United one day. Certainly not this year, certainly not in the next couple of years, but he's got that temperament and that personality, that I could see him being a good captain for United at some point. There's a genuine leader, and there's not a lot of them in the game at the moment, which is why I see that. Bad news, Ander Herrera has just been official at United, at PSG. United wanted him to take a pay cut. They probably wasn't offering anything like a 5-year contract for a player of his age and injury record. So you can go, all right, do you know what? I don't blame him for going. I'm gutted that he's gone. I think he's an excellent player. The sort of character that I think we really lack at United. I can understand him wanting to go for the 5-year deal that was put in front of him, and I couldn't understand us not wanting to match it. It's just one of those where you go, I don't really like it, but I get it. He did have a message for United fans, which he stuck up on Instagram. He said, "Thanks to all United fans that are wishing me the best in the new chapter. You are still supporting me even when I am not at the club anymore. Thanks a lot from my heart. I have no words." Characters like Andrew are rare in the game, and it's a shame that he's had to move on. But this is life, and hopefully we can get him replaced and crack on with what we need to do ourselves. Lukaku update. Is the deal off? So Inter are stalling on meeting Lukaku's 75 million price tag. So the one-away striker will have to join United on the pre-season tour. Now, do you know what? I hope Ollie's got the stones to say, you don't want to be here, you ain't coming on the tour. The tour is to bond this team together with the new recruits and the promotions from the academy, ready to attack next season. If you don't want to be here, then fucking stay at home. How about that? Stay at home, play on your PlayStation, do a little bit of running around the track with the under-18s coaches, and we'll see whenever we see you. The pre-season tour is about preparing Manchester United for next season. But if we've not got Lukaku, or if he doesn't want to be here, if he's trying to get out of the club, well, you need to treat him like that from the start. And the same goes with Pogba. Supposedly he was meeting with Solskjaer today or yesterday to discuss what's going to happen. I expect United are going to say, we're not selling you unless someone puts like 150 million on the table, which probably means we're not selling you. So you either get on with it, or you can fucking stay at home and all. And I would almost go to the extent of saying the same with De Gea. Now is the time that attitudes have to be changed at United. And if you want us to be a success next season, then you've got to start getting ruthless. And Ollie needs to be allowed to be ruthless. Someone mentioned this morning, after the Everton game, Ollie said there's going to be players that aren't going to be involved next season. We haven't sold anyone yet, have we? We've had a couple of people released on a free. Nice one. Now is the time to get ruthless. Don't bring them on pre-season. Send a fucking message out. Lukaku's not gone on the pre-season tour, but Mason Greenwood has. Okay, I see where that's going. De Gea's not gone on the pre-season tour, but Romero and Dean Anderson have. Now, that's a little bit of a different scenario than what's going on with Lukaku, but that's the message I'm trying to get across. You're either with us, or you can fucking sling it. How does that sound? That's what I think Ollie has to be. And I see that the ruthless side. There's a lot of deadwood. People that I haven't got any bad feelings. I haven't got any bad feelings towards Lukaku or Pogba or De Gea. But if you don't want to be here, don't be here. And the same goes for the likes of Darmian. And like, we shouldn't be going into the season with 4 centre halves that none of us want to see play for United. You can keep a couple of them as backup, but you don't need to keep 4. Now, I've included Baye in that mix. I think a fit Baye is a very good player, actually. But I think he's been caught up in his injuries. Does he want to stay? Does he want to go? Well, he's in that category as well. Phil Jones. Does anyone really want to see Phil Jones pull on a United shirt? No, fucking cool. Get him in the mix. Smalling, ditto. Well, he'll do as a backup, but I don't want to see him starting. And then you've got Darmian and you've got Rojo. All of these people don't need to be going on pre-season tour because I don't want to see them feature for United regular. You don't want to see them feature for United regular. And I hope Mike Phelan and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer don't want to see them feature for United regular. Someone who Mike Phelan does like, though, are you having that for a segue? Can you check me out? Mike Phelan has suggested that United are doing it or need to do everything to sign Harry Maguire this summer as he wants to reunite with the defender. Phelan coached Maguire during his short stint as a Hull boss and even made the centre-half a first-team regular before his performances ultimately earned a big money move to Leicester. Reports suggest City will not be meeting Leicester's demands, which gives United the clear if they can go ahead with finding the funds. I think this is negotiation time, and I don't understand what takes so long with negotiation. I know it's not like bargain hunt, where you stand there going like, what about 80? Well, what about 85? I think it's done over the phone, and it's like, look, we're at this position, someone has to go and speak to a CEO, someone has to go and report back. But why does it take so long, man? There's an interesting story there from Andy Mitten and Unibet. If you want to go check that out, go check Andy Mitten's Twitter out and have a look at it. But it seems like there's a potential angle for us to go for him there with Mike Phelan, and Mike Phelan knowing all about him is probably a good thing. I like Harry Maguire. He isn't top of my list, but I do like him. And the final one that we're going to be talking about today is, of course, United have been dealt a blow because someone else is signing a player that we was never fucking in for. So PSV winger Hirving Lozano, according to Calcio Mercato, Napoli have agreed terms with the Mexican international for 44.8 million for the 23-year-old, which means that United have clearly got egg on our face because someone else signed a player that we didn't go for. Mint. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Laters.